Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade, and in this video I'm gonna be sharing the 10 Finnish things that I learned working as a waitress in Finland. If you are new to my channel and you probably don't know, I actually have been living in Finland for 12 years, and one of my first works in Finland was in a restaurant as a cleaner, in which I eventually got promoted to be a waitress. And so if you haven't watched those videos and you're curious to know more about those, I'm just gonna link those above. But in this video, I'm really gonna share what are all the curiosities and the new things, the weird things, the cool things that I learned in my time working as a waitress. So as always, I'm gonna include the timestamps in the description below. So if you don't wanna watch the whole video, just please go to the description and jump to the part that you're more interested to watch. So the first thing that I learned in my 6 years, almost 7 years working as a waitress in Finland was Finnish language. And I think this is one of the reasons that I am so in love, grateful, and I just love that first workplace that I had. And I am in so much gratitude because that workplace was really the key for me to learn Finnish language. Because when I was an exchange student, I really didn't pay attention to learning the language. Different factors, that's a story for another video. And when I came actually to live in Finland and study in Finland for high school, I really was so consuming to studying my subjects that were really challenging that really learning Finnish language was not in my top priorities. But eventually, as I moved into the university life and as I started to get these questions about where are you gonna go for a summer job and are you gonna work and so on and so forth, I really realized that I really needed to know, and I really needed to learn Finnish language. So for me, it was really a very slow start, I would say, because I actually was asked by one of my host moms from the time that I was an exchange student that, Jade, so you have graduated from high school, what are you gonna do next? And I was like, well, it's summer, right? And she was like, no, but aren't you planning to go to work? At the time I was 21 years old. So I was like, I mean, yes, I guess I can work. And that was basically how I landed my first job in Finland. As a Mexican, I really didn't came with the expectations to work because all of my living and studies and everything expenses were paid by my parents from Mexico. So every year I just received the money to come what I came to do, which was to study. But eventually, I started obviously becoming older and older at 21 years old. In Finland, living in the Finnish culture, obviously there was these expectations that, well, not from my Mexican family, but within Finland that you're kind of a little bit older, shouldn't you at least in the summer go to work? So that's how I landed my first job. I was a summer employee. I worked as a cleaner in a restaurant for June, July, August, for 3 months. And then my contract continued as a normal worker, aka as a cleaner, for a permanent contract. Eventually, I got promoted to be a waitress after I did my internship there and after I got all the hygiene pass and all these different alcohol pass and certifications that you need to have in order to be able to do that kind of work. But the first thing, going back, now that I gave a little bit of background, the first thing that I did learn was Finnish language. And that was really a big step. Because for me, I think that my intention going into the restaurant wasn't really oh my God, I'm going to learn Finnish language. Sure, I knew that I needed to develop my language skills because even if at the beginning as a summer employee or as a cleaner, really my interaction with customers was kept at minimum, I knew that I wanted to be able to understand what the persons are saying because sometimes they would just come and not just say hi or ask can I choose a table? Sometimes they were gonna start asking more difficult questions and I wanted to make sure that at least I was able to understand those. Sometimes when I found myself, especially during the summer times or holiday times, where there's really so much rush in the restaurant. Actually, it doesn't have to be holidays, just when there's rush hours at the restaurant, I would find myself maybe cleaning a table and then really figuring out that they were some other people coming in and trying to order their food. And I felt so useless at a time thinking that I really need to step up my game because I can do something more than just like, cleaning the tables. And I should have enough skills to do that. So little by little, even though it was not my goal, like I didn't go to this work it's gonna be my stepping stone into learning Finnish language. For me, it was really like a game changer. Because I think like in everyday life in Finland, at least that's my experience from high school and my experience from being an exchange student in 2010, it is so easy to just live your life using English language. Or maybe just like using your very basic Finnish, like moi, mitä kuuluu, and just saying like kiitos, iksi kahvi, I don't know, like what else like do you say, like when people like say like do you want the quiti, and then you say like hey kiitos, moi moi. So you just really like need a very limited like vocabulary to quote unquote survive. But that really will not take you forward. So eventually I think that in the restaurant, really like by immersing myself in a workplace where I would just hear Finnish all the time, like it eventually started like, it started to hit. And the beautiful thing was that because I was actually in the Finnish working environment, I really never learned Finnish as it's like properly taught in Finnish courses. I just learned it as Finnish people like talk about it. And I think that was like one of the like most beautiful things. Equally, when I started interacting more with customers, I have had like the majority, with some exceptions obviously, but the majority of my customers have always been incredibly nice. And they have like, I have been so surprised in Finland by how much love and how much nice reception people have towards you when they know that you are making the effort. When they notice that you are like, that you maybe like understand most of the parts, but some people don't even like take it wrong when you say and you go ask like, okay, so I'm not sure I caught this part correctly. Obviously, like most of the time when I didn't understood something, I would just like memorize it, go and talk to my like waitress coworker and just ask like, okay, so what does this mean? But a lot of times, like they obviously, like as a customer, they perceive that, okay, if I'm making this kind of face, like they probably like think that I don't understand. And a lot of times they just like explain it. And we have like in the restaurant, I have like noticed that there's so many like customers that we have coming like over and over and over again. And we kind of like become even like friends, and we have developed such beautiful relationships in which they really even have like my customers have helped me learn more and more and more, not just Finnish language, but also the slang that it's spoke in the area where I live. So they've taught me how to speak and understand a little bit better Savo, which is like incredible for me. So even though it was not my goal, one of the most beautiful things that I learned by being a waitress in Finland was how to speak in Finnish. That helped me so much, and really like moving forward, it was easier for me to incorporate in another type of Finnish work environment, which was later on as I continued working at the university. Even though my work at the university was done in English, really like having these very strong basic foundations of Finnish language coming from the restaurant industry, it really make my time much more easier going forward into like my new job at the university. So yes, it was incredible, and I am like so grateful for that. As I said, it was not intentional, but I think that also something that I noticed is that that's one of the most intelligent and clever things to do, because I have also seen persons that they go to a restaurant to work, and obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning, because as a cleaner, you really do not need the language. They simply stay in the comfortable position of, I don't need the language, and if I don't understand something, I'll either speak in English, and most of the times the people will understand you, or you will ask for help, and your coworkers can also help you in English, because as mentioned in many videos, Finnish people know how, like almost everyone knows how to speak in English. Some really good, some not so good, but they do know. And they stay in this comfortable position of, I just know how to say kiitos and moi moi. And that's a little bit like, I mean, I respect it to a certain extent, because I am the type of person that thinks that everyone does its own life and makes its own decisions. But another part of me really feels that that's really like not strategic, because you are just spending years and years and years without really developing any further. And I feel it gets a little bit into a weird space if you have been like years and years and years in Finland and you haven't even like just put the effort, because what you are doing is like, yes, you're keeping your job, but unless you're already in your dream job, you are like really losing like a big ass opportunity of taking the workplace, not only like your current workplace, not just as a source of getting cash, but also as an opportunity to develop your skills further so that maybe like you can have an easier time moving forward. So this was a really like long ass first thing that I wanted to share. So the second one, and I think that I already talked about it, the second one, it's just about like Finnish customers. And Finnish regular customers has been one of the like nicest surprise ever. I will not spend much time explaining this point. Just as mentioned in the previous point, I didn't know, I guess because obviously that this was my first job, but I didn't realize like how much like a customer can really be like loyal to a specific place. So I was so surprised as the years started to pass to see that there were these things that they called in Finland Vakioasiakkaat. And those are like regular customers. So they would just like come to the point that you actually like know their names, to the point that you actually know what's happening in their life. Like you celebrate in their birthdays, you celebrate, in Christmas when they get married, in the Valentine's Day, they bring you roses. Like you actually like create a strong relationship with your customers to the point that you say hi like if you find each other like in the store or walking in the city center. And like I have had so many customers with whom I have just like, if I find them in this really common place in Kuopio where you can get to enjoy like really nice drinks during the summer, it's called Muolimannappa or something like that. And I would find them there and I would be able to like just to sit down and actually like have a drink. And it's so beautiful because that just has helped me to further learn or further develop my Finnish language skills, but also really just create beautiful relationships that I am like happy to have. It's nice to just walk around the city and then just like, meet people here and there and know that they are not just your customer, but you actually like know the person. I personally have not yet created like as a customer such type of relationship with the waitress that serves me or like with the chef or anything like that. But now I know that it's possible, and I think that that's like something really beautiful. So I was so surprised that such things could happen. Please let me know, like, is this like common like in all the countries? I think that could be like common, but I was just so surprised. Maybe it's not necessarily a Finnish thing, but that's something that I learned in Finland, so I wanted to share also about that. The third Finnish thing that I learned, and I am pretty sure that this could really be a Finnish thing, it's the amount of allergies that Finnish people can have. I don't know if this is really just coming from the fact that I come from Mexico, and I mean, for the 16 years that I lived in Mexico, like I don't feel like I have heard of like lactose intolerance, but most of the other things, like maybe gluten-free, but really not. Like I think like, and I'm not sure like why is the reason for that. Sometimes I'm thinking like, I have heard that it's pretty common in Finland that you actually get tested for allergies and that you like really like dive deeper into all of the specifics of what could it be that you are exactly allergic from. And I think in Mexico, we really don't do that. Like, unless you're really like getting some sort of like big effect, like big allergy. When I came to Finland and people asked me like, are you allergic to anything? I was like, no, I don't think so. So yeah, like later on I discovered that in the summer I might have some sort of allergy because I sneeze a lot, and apparently it's a really common allergy to something called the sitipöli or something like that, which is something that comes from the trees in the spring, summertime. Anyway, working in the restaurant, I realized that Finnish people can have a ton of allergies. Sometimes in my Mexican brain, I wonder like, are you really allergic, or you just don't want to eat that? I don't know. Obviously, like my job as a waitress is to trust whatever the customer is saying. So I follow those like guidelines, but it's not just like lactose free. It's just like milk free, grain free, gluten free, people that are allergic to spices, people that are allergic to onion, to paprika, to cucumber. Like the amount of allergies that you can find or that I have been able to find on Finnish people, it's like it blows your mind. And of course, I am so happy that Finnish restaurants are like ready to, you know, welcome these type of customers and actually like, because it's so common, like most of the restaurants, it's just like, okay, give me your list of allergies and we will like, you know, figure out together like what is it that we can like do for you. The only thing that I haven't really like not necessarily enjoyed is that when a person is like have a lot of allergies and they already know that, because sometimes it's just like, okay, like I need like that it's like milk free, or I need that it doesn't have like onion, or I need that it doesn't have a specific type of spice, like that's fine. We can easily come up with options. What I personally do not appreciate as being a waitress, it's people that they are already beforehand aware that they have like a huge list of allergies, because a lot of times, like maybe like 2 or 3 times it has happened in my waitressing career, where we really haven't been able to find something that it's like, you know, nice enough for a customer to eat. So I think that if a person already knows that he has like this big amount of like allergies, and maybe what we can offer, it's like, okay, well, eat pizza, and it's like, no, I actually like, I have all these allergies, but I also don't want to eat pizza. I feel like that's a little bit almost irresponsible for the person to just go to a place if the person is hungry, or if the person is like with a big group, and just like throw the bunch of allergies like there, where, you know, at least in Finland, like most establishments have their menus online. So it would be just so easy to go to the online menu and already see like what kind of options it is. I think like if those are the allergies that you as a person have had for many, like for your entire life or for many years, you already know what type of food works for you or doesn't. So I think that's something that would be like highly appreciated, would be if you would contact the restaurant beforehand, or just come, you know, being ready enough for going through the whole process of checking what are the possibilities. And like, you know, just also risking the fact that in some situations, it might be the case that we simply cannot find like a food for you. And in those cases, even though it's not the best customer experience, like if all these like big list of allergies are coming out of the blue, then you simply have a certain menu to work with. And that's it. Like it's either there is or there is not. And sometimes it like these like 3-4 times that have happened to me, it's just like, it's really sad, because you really are like, well, I really wish I could do something for you, but we really don't have something for you. So that's one of the Finnish things that I learned in Finland, and that was like truly surprising. So number 4 was Finnish boldness and directness. And this is like, because, you know, a lot of people, like, and it's like, this is, I think, like, how do you call this word, where stereotypes. This is this kind of like a stereotype that Finnish people are shy. And to some extent, yes, I agree to that Finnish people are more reserved, more quiet, don't open that easily unless they have had like a couple drinks already. But the thing is that they can also be very, very bold. Maybe not when speaking with English, because like, just to make it clear, whenever I have like felt this type of like boldness, I really don't know if it's the Finnish language or if it's the person itself. But this Finnish shyness that it's so much talked about in kind of like in the stereotypes type of way, that's it, like, you know, in all the memes that come out and everything, like there have been moments where I really have seen nothing like that. Like, I'm like, where's your Finnish shyness? Like, that's totally non-existent. And I had like this example from one of my customers that I could never forget, because she had a bunch of allergies. And so she couldn't eat like a lot of spices, but she wanted to have a pizza. So the problem was like the pizza sauce. So the thing is that I had to go and check check all of the ingredients for the ketchup that we had, for the pizza sauce that we had, and also for some other tomato sauce that we have for like other dishes that we could use as a replacement. And the thing is that like nothing, like none of those options worked. And so I was like, well, then it doesn't work. And like there was like this customer, we had like the Rosso, it's an Italian restaurant, so there were these kind of like decorations of these like muti or these kind of like cans that contain tomato sauce. But those were really like decorations. We use them like to decorate the walls. We really didn't use them, and like I don't know, like I'll explain what happened. So the thing is that this customer just like takes the decoration from the wall, looks, and it's like, okay, tomato, water, salt. Yes, this worked. Like, please take this to the kitchen and make my pizza with this. And I was like, whew, like, wow. And I really don't know if it's sometimes that I really like misinterpret as a foreigner, the Finnish language, but the way in which she said it, like the selection of words, I was just like, of course we can use our decorations to make your food, but just like the way, right? Like, and that's what I mean, like with like really like checking beforehand, like, is this possible? Is this not possible? But then this specific customer was like, let me take this decoration. You go to the kitchen and you open this and you use this. This will work for me. Can you do that? And I think it's like this, like, I don't know, like if it's just like my perception that I'm like, it comes like so to your face. That was one of the first experiences because it was like so heavy in my mind that I do remember. But there's a bunch of other experiences where, for example, if Finnish people are just like talking about like, you know, this food feels overpriced or this tasted like nothing. Like, I think it's maybe something with the Finnish language, but they really said like, well, I very much think that this is overpriced. Well, I very much think that this tastes really like nothing, like it had like zero flavor. I didn't like it at all. And these kind of like really like comments that at least me as a Mexican, as a foreigner, like I'm not sure how to approach those. When people complain that something, in their opinion, it's overpriced, I mean, you saw the price that it's available on their website, you saw the price in the menu when you came, you already know like how much it costs. And obviously, like I know that eating in restaurants in Finland, it's expensive. In my opinion, that's like common knowledge. So I was like really curious, like how does this come like as a shock for you? And then, I don't know, like I guess like in Mexico, like we are really like taught, and this is probably like something that me as an adult, I also want to change, because I think in Mexico sometimes we're just like too nice. Like we don't say really like the bad things. We don't say really like so much how we feel on certain situations, because we try to be polite. We try to be educated, right? And doesn't mean that that's like unpolite or uneducated, but from the background that I come from, it just really comes like, can you choose some nicer words to express the same thing? And sometimes it's just like, for example, when people complain like, or just like mention, like knowing that the worker is next to the table, like, oh, this look like it's just taken from the like frozen package or something, like some sort of those comments. I'm so happy, like a part of me really appreciates people's openness and honesty and just like telling the things very bluntly. And the other part of me, it's like, you know, you can really like say the same things using nicer words. And this goes like into so many levels. I'm watching my notes, and actually like here I had something like where when a customer comes and there's really like a hurry, like all the tables are full, and then there comes like a one person saying like, hey, I'm going to like, you know, go to the train. Can you just please like, you know, can I skip the line and can you please just like do my food first? And like, this is what I mean, you see, like a part of me really admires this like bluntness and this directness. But then another part of me, it's really like, really? Like, are you really asking that? I guess that maybe this last example was not the best example. But I mean, what can you really do? Like, do you say then like, yes, of course. Like I have found myself personally in similar situations. Like just one time when I was like running late for this one connection flight, but it was not my fault. It was the flight's fault. And I had to ask to the, like one of the security persons in the line, like, hey, like I'm really gonna miss my flight. Is there any chance I could like cut the line? I mean, of course, the answer could be simply like, no, you can't. And I understand that there are situations where you have to like, you know, just go and ask because you never know like what could be the answer. Like, you know, that maybe most likely the answer is going to be no, but maybe you hope that like you will get a positive answer, and sometimes it happens. But I think just because it is Finland, and Finland, it's all about, in my perspective, it's all about the rules. It's about like, you know, the order. Like we do things in this way, and that's what it is. And like there is no like sneaky ways to move around it. Like I'm not sure, because it's not something that, okay, Jade is just giving us an example of something that happened once. No, it's like really common. And I think that what it comes for me, it's just like, is it okay? Like maybe you guys can share, like if you are a Finnish person watching from Finland, you can like share your opinion on this. Like how would you feel as a customer if you come to a restaurant and then you have been waiting for your food, and then another person comes and the person is in a hurry and wants her own food to be like prepared before yours because maybe her train is leaving, or maybe she's in a hurry to go somewhere else. Like in my personal opinion, I feel that that's sort of like not okay. But I don't know, like maybe you can tell me like, Jade, you are getting this like completely wrong. This is actually like something really like normal and you should not make a big deal about it. So also like let me know. I'm happy to also always keep learning more about the culture and like, you know, change my mind, understand better, do better, be better. The fifth Finnish thing that I learned while working as a waitress in Finland was really all about, what did I write here? Choosing the wrong time to complain or offer feedback. And this is something that, as far as I've experienced in my home country and in the other countries where I have traveled to, because I have also traveled to like many other countries, I have never found that this is an issue, but I personally have found this to be an issue in Finland, is that even though Finnish people in certain situations are like really direct and really like, you know, say the things as they are, just as I mentioned like just some minutes ago, I also feel like sometimes they just like keep it quiet. Like they decide like not to talk. Like I think like it goes like to extremes, right? Like in this other specific point that I am talking about, it's just like when the customer receives their food, or when the person is uncomfortable about X, Y, or Z thing, and then the person goes through the whole experience like not enjoying this. And what I'm saying, what I'm talking specifically in this point, even though there's many examples, it's about not liking a specific food. It's like you receive the food, you don't like the food, you eat the food, and then like, you know, there's something in Finland that they are called the välikäynti. And it's basically what it means. It's that like the waitress or the waiter come and checks like, is everything all right? Do you need like more drinks? Is your food tasting okay? Is there something like wrong? And I have found like hands down, no joke, like pinky promise, that I have found so many, like I cannot even tell you a number because this happens so like often in my like career as a waitress that I couldn't tell you like, oh, you know, it were like 50 customers. Like no, like the amount of customer experiences that I have had in this specific topic have been lots. And that is that maybe the person asked for like, you know, a meat in medium and it came more like medium plus, or that the person like, you know, asked for like well done and it didn't come like well done. Or that the person offered, you know, like asked for a specific like plate with like maybe like mashed potatoes and it came with French fries. Like there's something wrong with the order that you ordered. Maybe you didn't receive your drink. Maybe you didn't maybe your pizza was like undercooked or overcooked. Like whatever the thing is that something was wrong with the order. And the thing is that so many times, like people don't say anything, like anything. They keep quiet. They keep quiet. They eat it. They smile. They go like, And then when you just go in the end of the, like approaching the end of the, of the, what is it, like the experience, the time that you're going to spend in the restaurant as a customer, you go to collect the dishes and, ask for the dessert. You ask once again, like, so was everything all right? And then it was like, then you get the feedback. It's like, oh, so this actually was tasteless. Actually, like, this was like so bad. Like I ordered this type of like, steak in medium and it came like well done. Or the other way around. Or like actually like I never really got my wine. Like I ordered a wine and I really never got my wine. And I mean, the thing is, to be very frank, is that these things happen. Like mistakes happen. Do we try to like that mistakes never happen? Obviously. Like no one goes to their work, no one goes around their life being like, okay, I want to make this wrong. Like no, mistakes happen. And sometimes the steak can be like, like overcooked from your preference point that you told before, or maybe you ordered something and it didn't came, or maybe you ordered this and it was like wrong or whatever. But the thing is that basically, you have all of the time to express that this is like not good for you, that you are not happy about this. But like I've noticed that Finnish people really like decide to wait until the end to complain, when you really as a waitress, you can't do anything anymore about it. Like if they already ate the whole food, like you can't make it better. If they already ate the steak and they didn't have the wine, you can't change that anymore. And I understand that a lot of Finnish people, like Finnish customers, like whenever I have talked about these issues with them, what they tell me is like, Jade, but it's like we are really like not willing to wait for, another hour for the person to like, make again the dish. Because if you don't know, in Finland, like if something's wrong with your dish, you can either like ask the person to correct it immediately and they will bring you your dish as you ordered, like with the preference that you had. Like if you speak early, you will always get the right dish for you. If you speak late, what can we do? Like, what can we do? You already ate it. Like it's already done. Or people that like wait till it's like, well, I almost like ate like 3/4 of it and I actually will tell you like that this is bad, I'd like another one. Why did you eat something that was bad? Like my Mexican brain can't understand that. It's like you came, you tasted something that was not good, you ate it. Like as a business, like if you eat something, we have to ask the cost for it. So like I'm very curious to understand like what's the logic behind that. Like let me eat the thing and later on complain about it. And sometimes it has been even worse. That's like they eat it, they pay, they say nothing. They say like, yeah, like things were good, or then they were like quiet and they were like, oh yeah, like yeah, it was okay, like thank you. And then they go immediately, the moment they step out of the restaurant, they go to our like feedback website and they write a huge email just saying how horrible everything was. And of course, as a business, we always get back to them. We always like contact them back. Actually, like, actually we read those emails. We investigate those situations. If you ever complain to a business and then you receive like a gift card or a compensation or an answer or anything, like, don't you think that people don't research that? Like every single time that we got a complaint, especially when I was like more actively working at the restaurant, because at the moment I'm in my 1 year study leave. But those complaints are treated. The moment that one complaint comes, that complaint, it's like shared with the staff, and it's like, okay, so who took this table? What really happened here? And sometimes it's really like just like a surprise, because so many times it has happened that the customer really never even showed signs of dissatisfaction. And then the customer goes out and it's like, everything was shit, everything was shit, everything was shit. And I swear a lot. So I'll repeat that. And everything was horrible, and this was not good, and I did like this didn't work, and that didn't work, and I didn't enjoy this, and I didn't enjoy that. And so like sometimes all these like comes really like out of the blue. This is something that I have only experienced here. I've never really understand it. And as a foreigner, I have struggled so much to understand this, especially because eating out in Finland, it's damn expensive. Like unless you're going to fast food or some Turkish slash Asian restaurant, and not all of them, because some of them are also like, you know, highly priced, but mostly if you go to fast food, Asian, Turkish pizzerias, it's like more on the cheaper side. But otherwise, every single time that you're gonna go for a restaurant, you are looking at the 20, 25 plus euros type of meal. If you say that, okay, I just took like a soda and like the main thing, like at least it's gonna be like 20 euros. That's like the minimum it's gonna cost. If you put the starters and like dessert, you probably are looking at a 30/50 euro type of bill per person. So if you already, like in my Mexican brain, I really can't help to understand this, because I'm thinking that, hey, you know it's expensive. You know it's so damn expensive. And you don't talk about this. Like you don't complain, you don't share your feedback like nicely in the appropriate time. Like, why would you go through such experience? Like, why, like what's happening in the person's head so that they receive the dish and they are like, oh my God, I don't like this dish, but I'm gonna eat it like fully. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna go outside from the business and then I'm gonna complain afterwards that this was horrible. And I already paid for it, and I paid like a high price, and I spent my time. Like, I think that's what like comes to my like Mexican brain. It's like, you spend your time, like your non-returnable time in an experience that you were not enjoying, and you paid for it and you went through it. Like, I don't get it. I don't know, like, I don't like in Mexico, if I don't like something, I immediately say that I don't like this, and I ask for something new. And in Finland, I've also done the similar way, because if I am going to spend money on something, then that something must be something I enjoy. Because for me, it makes such a hustle. Like something really big has to happen for me so that I would go through like a non-pleasant experience, not say anything about it, and then go afterwards and complain. I think that me as Jade, as my person that I am, it's either like I go through the experience, I decide not to share anything, and that's all. Like, I just don't share anything and that's all. But yeah, like maybe I just don't come back ever to that restaurant, which it's bad, because like, you know, with the feedback we can actually develop. Without any feedback we can't. But whatever, like, you know, if I really didn't enjoy and I really didn't bother giving the feedback and I really didn't like bother anything, it's just like, okay, you know, like whatever, bye. But like, why would I like not share anything and then go complain afterwards? That's something that me as Jade, as my person, I wouldn't do. And I just don't understand why it's so common in Finland. Like, that's something that I just don't understand, guys. So I think that this video has been already like very long. So I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna make part 2, which I'm gonna film immediately today, because otherwise I have realized that maybe like the part 2s or part 3s or part 4 really take a long time for me to do. But please let me know what you think about this video. Like, I really hope that it didn't came as something that it's like, Jade, it's complaining. It's just me really like getting curious and really like sharing some of the things that I have experienced, some of the things that I have fully loved, like my customers, like the Finnish language, but some specific behaviors that for me have been really like, why? Like why? And not because I have like bad feelings towards the customer that behave like that. It's just because I put myself in the place of the customer, and I would, as me, I would not enjoy that type of experience. So for me, it's really hard to understand, like, why would you behave like that? Or why would you go through that experience in that way? Like, I just personally don't see the benefit in it. And I just felt like so curious and surprised just to like see that this is something that it seems to be common in Finland. Anyways, I hope you like this video, and I look forward to see you in the next video, which might not be the part 2, might also be the part 2, but that part 2, I'm gonna film it now so you can be 100% sure that it's coming. I hope you have a beautiful day, and see you in the next video. Bye!